Hello, everybody. Happy Big Share Day. I am thrilled to be with you all today with Angela Trudell Vasquez, who is the City of Madison's Poet Laureate. She's the seventh person to hold this role and brings rich experience to the role with over 3 decades of publishing poetry. And she believes that poetry is accessible to anybody and that we can break down barriers with poetry and create empathy and understanding with healing. I am incredibly moved by that statement and think that you will be moved by her work. She's been connected to community sharers in our member groups for nearly 20 years with roles at both the ACLU of Wisconsin and End Domestic Abuse Wisconsin. Social justice, advocacy, and art are all woven into the values of community shares, and we are so grateful for Angela's impact and her willingness to use her words to inspire all of us today. Angela, thank you for being here with me and for your support of the Big Share today.
Absolutely. And I'm going to start with one of my favorite poems for the children of Madison on the east side called Wheel Kids. Wheel Kids. Chocolate children race down the cul-de-sac, tight curls bounce, jeans, t-shirts rise with air, clenched fist tape bars, tennis shoe breaks, no brakes, a shout. They cruise out of sight of the window. Bikes, scooters shake, quake, skinny kid, arms, legs, torsos, skin flattens, neighbors, straight arrows, shooting stars, flesh flies, bodies grow wings. That is Wheel Kids from In Light, Always Light. Going to read Space Time from the same collection. Space Time. 1. We are magic dying. Pink peonies gasp tight, ants assist open petals. No peony exists without ministrations of light. Brick wall frames space between drive. A garden of red clay pots brightens balcony. All balconies lit with green light caress eyes. Eyes, mystery, upset images transform in skull. How we got here is fought over in courtrooms. People pretend to be God, brandish fire sticks, hands, tools, nails, weapons. A newborn is a garden of early potatoes. An angel reads minds from her high chair, babbles. Mother feeds child smashed orange skin sweet potatoes with tiny spoon. We are most vulnerable when we sit at the table with fork and knife. 2. Early rose light calls from window, jackrabbits bound, flight occurs on ground. Where are my crow friends? Hawk, brown circle, school bathe in blue light. Students descend, stairs fade into brilliance, talks done, talk begins. Black pen scratches white paper, mind waxes, sheds peacock feathers. How do you begin to think mired in thought and self-doubt? Walk clears canvas, blank sheets beg, pull feet to mountain, ascend. That was Space Time. And I'm going to read what we call a prose poem. And I travel in the Midwest quite often, and this is on a train. The train cuts the prairie in two. Makeupless, I ride with coffee and dead poets. I put on lipstick at first light, rearrange my papers. Who am I writing for? Cars roll by, small town country kids, graffiti, rural children color bridges, just like in big cities. Do they dream of escape, MBA career, or being a CPA? How to avoid parenting? Moving to the city, these prairies before railroads breathe coal. What rough hands laid track, raised the pickaxe, cleared fields, dug trenches, signed evacuation orders. An unshaven man across from me drinks a tall boy. It is not quite noon. He falls asleep. 3 Budweiser cans slip, roll between his laced boots. His body hugs his pack. Union Pacific, what backs built you? Who lived on your doors, slept in your boxcars, hobos, families of 4, railroad worker families who carved windows and hung hammocks to sleep as they rolled under the stars. or children who grew up to travel to foreign countries where high-speed bullet trains never stop moving, where you can drink champagne on some veranda overlooking water. Any body of water will do in a parched parcel. This is cruel, eat gruel land. People ask for money at highway intersections, scramble for coins when lights change. Icy winds saunter, shake the windows, blow the sleeping man's hair from its skull base. His shirt ruffles, his duffel bag seeps socks, magazines. The bag may implode in his grip. Cats look out from sliding glass windows when we stop for more passengers. The felines make eye contact with the metal beasts, stare into the windows. That is, the train cuts the prairie in two. And I'm going to read an immigration. And as we say in yoga, get a comfortable seat because this is going to take a little while. But this covers 300 years of history, and it's called Arboretum. And this is for my family, and I am second and third generation Mexican American from Iowa. Arboretum frames Mexican bones, bodies who built railroads with broken backs, raw hands. An 1880 census conceals us, carving holes in steel cars for light, night air, hanging hammocks for sleeping wives to rock under galaxies. One woman rides the continent, follows her man from Zacatecas, thighs astride her clacking motorbike, belly swings on a swing, sways on the rails until, where they lived in boxcars until kids were grown, where postpartum was unknown and unbalanced women got sent back, where my grandma, her cousins hid on the school hill to eat quesadillas. Neighbors claim the old man rode with Pancho Villa when men in suits leap off skyscrapers in New York, where my mom and Tia pretend not to speak English, teasing shots on the square, where my dad ran cross country to escape those fences, farmland until he broke, a mahogany streak on burnt clay tracks, where my uncle strove through bullets in Vietnam, dragging his buddy to the helicopter, and grandmothers trade apples for pears, fingertips and ashy wrists dig out change at the market, dole out tortillas during meals, one hand on the open flame, one hand flutters, holds the blue house dress, where peony roots divide on their own, sparking an arboretum of sweet pink light, whose perfume carries itself uptown to the courthouse and drafts with garlic and chile, where my sister came, the day my grandfather was buried, water gushing graveside, and summers meant vaulting between family houses, rhubarb sticks dipped in bone-white sugar, rope swing thigh burns, treasure hunts in the gully, where I visit now, water their parched Easter lilies as they lie beneath the grass, thank them for surviving Midwest winters, wars, and lynchings, for firewood split, mole recipes on parchment, for raising people who love so much it hurts to swallow, for lessons on how small Carmel women united overcome great sorrow, for sharing their one red lipstick and rose hand lotion when I was a girl flowering. I'm going to move to a winter poem because it's winter. And this is called After the First Snow. After the first snow. Bushes shake white gifts, flecks, earth quakes, pine, oak, maple trees dance, lift limbs, bow. Burning bush trembles with each footstep, droplets thunder. Icicles on my birthday sparkle, clear candles, icy breath of pine cones, each branch breathes out clean. Dust off flakes, give thanks to the trunks who let me linger in their froth, a child again beneath the skin package. Winter's tongue landscapes the morning, silver palette, sleds come out of storing, children shriek, flock to the hill, carve runs all afternoon, sweaty kid brows shine. I hope you are all staying warm, but if you can, go sledding. It doesn't matter how old or young, it's still a really good time. I'm going to read a poem called Everybody is Somebody's Child. Everybody is somebody's child. For the woman who swims on her back, baby floating on her breasts, eyelashes facing the stars. For the girl who walks 3 miles for fresh water, gourd atop of her head, bare feet on earth. For the mother who shields her child with board games and hot chocolate from falling cluster bombs, whose fingers read coins and saute red peppers, onions, gifts bought at the open air market, who quarters tomatoes from the stand along the road, roasts sweet corn from the back of a pickup truck on a lost country highway from a woman folded in half, the widow who hiked for days, holding on with both hands, two smaller than her own, another one strapped on her back with a bottle stopped at a border due to the wrong stamp, and offices closed for the holiday. The strangers who found her crying on a side road, a couple who crossed the Rio Grande with her later, when the moon shone, though they had papers. Toddler perched on the man's shoulders, fingertips dangling bags for precious lives, snacks, water for the journey. The grandmother who watches her grandchildren while their parents work outside the home, teaches them to share building blocks, how to read, walks them to the park to see the squirrels and ducks on the pond scatter at their joyful cries, short legs scrambling down the bank. The woman who rides the waves and prays the rickety boat will reach Lesbos shores, and on the other side waits warm bread, lentil soup, tea with honey, coffee, a bed to sleep, people who will throw open their doors and let them in. Let them in. So that is Everybody is Somebody's Child. And I'm going to close with a couple poems back from In Light, Always Light, because no matter what, I choose to travel in the light. And I hope you do too, because we have such a brief time. And I live by the words of Mary Oliver. Tell me what it is you will do with your one wild and precious life. So I'm going to read Wild Prayer. And this is a poem for a dance that I do on occasion. Wild Prayer. Brown earth floors, breathe feet, sweaty bodies. We glow, glisten, meet, leaping in mid-flight, the swivel in the mirror. We are magic dying, blooming in our bodies, bare souls touch dead trees, arms raise, carry, twist, praise all that sings. Praise goddess monkey teacher from up north who left to dance on hallowed ground on the edge of blue sky lakes with sisters round and round. There's a woman who teaches dance in Milwaukee, and we dance on the water and we dance along the river. And even in the pandemic, we danced in the snow. So I'm going to close with In Light, Always Light, which is the title of this book, and it's how I live. In light, always light. Grass strands gleam, weave, undulate from the window. The vendor screams, build the wall, lifts his hand, works the crowd, looks at me, sells more t-shirts. My mind waxes, brilliant wet glass winks, waves shine back my reflection. I am dazzled by the sun glinting off my cat's whiskers. He lays on his back, flanks flayed by the deck, half shade, half light. First graders play football on marigold carpet in our shared backyard. The smile on their faces when they catch it warms us, childless apartment dwellers behind glass walls. The poet reads a book of poems, then walks to the park to think. She does not know what she is going to do, hike the sled hill or swing on the swing. If no children are present, she will swing until her stomach says no, then descend from her height among the treetops and head home. She circles the preserve full of earth thoughts, falling leaf music, crashing, crushing sounds, and auburn smells float up from her footsteps. She thinks we spin on Earth's axis, half blinks of history. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Angela. That was an incredible note to end on as we think about how we can all find joy right now and find light in the midst of winter, in the midst of the pandemic, as we're all trying to think about how we exist among one another as well. So thank you. If
Mhm.
people want to find more of your work, where's the best way to do that?
I have my book available at some of the local bookstores, A Room of One's Own. I edited a collection recently of Wisconsin poets, and that's, I believe, still available at Mystery to Me. But people can also contact me on Facebook under Angela Trudell Vasquez, and I'm happy to point them in the right direction. It is available online at Finishing Line Press if they search for my name. And Finishing Line Press also accepted another book, and that's My People Redux. So that'll be coming out at some point in time. So I can also be Googled, and people can find my work online.
Excellent. Congrats on the upcoming additional book as well. That's huge
Mhm.
news. Thank you once again for sharing your art with us today. And thank you to everyone who is tuning in and supporting the Big Share. Everybody's contributions are incredibly appreciated, and we so help all that you all are doing to help us support these 70 member nonprofits and helping us try to reach our goal of $500,000 raised in one day. Thank you.